If she never calls or texts you first, just do this psychology tricks. Welcome to our channel. It's Stoicism Win, where you find interesting and useful knowledge from the Stoic philosophers to lead a happy and good life. As Epictetus reminds us, we cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them. And that truth matters deeply when it comes to love, attention, and respect. If she never calls or texts you first, do not excuse it as just her personality or tell yourself it means nothing. It is a choice, and choices reveal interest more clearly than words ever will. What matters most is not chasing an explanation, but mastering your response. The way you react to her silence will decide whether she begins to respect your value or slowly takes your presence for granted. Today, we are going to break down what you should really do when she never reaches out first, and why staying calm, dignified, and self-controlled is your greatest strength. Stay with me, because every step ahead is about protecting your self-respect, your peace of mind, and your time. 1. Be ready to walk away. This is not a dramatic move. This is not a game. This is the moment where everything you say about self-respect becomes real, visible, undeniable. If she never calls, never texts first, never invests, and nothing changes even after you pull back, then stop explaining it away. Stop making excuses for her behavior. That is your answer. And now comes the part most men avoid. Walking away. Don't hesitate. Don't negotiate with reality. Don't stay hoping that effort will magically appear one day. Be honest. Be calm. Be firm. Most men don't stay because they're fulfilled. They stay because they're afraid. Afraid of silence. Afraid of starting over. Afraid that this might be the best they can get. But that fear is exactly what keeps you stuck in a cycle where your value slowly erodes. Understand this clearly. Staying in a one-sided connection is not neutral. It is costly. It chips away at your confidence. It teaches you to accept less. It conditions you to chase instead of attract. And over time, it rewires how you see yourself. That is why in psychology tricks and deeper female psychology, the man who is willing to walk away is always the one who holds emotional power, not because he controls others, but because he controls himself. Don't misunderstand this. Walking away is not about punishing her. It is about protecting you. It is about refusing to participate in something that does not meet your standards. Be the man who chooses clarity over confusion. Be the man who values peace over attention. Because when you finally reach that point, when you are truly, deeply okay with losing someone who does not show up for you, you become different. Your energy shifts. Your presence sharpens. You stop overthinking. You stop chasing. And ironically, that is when attraction often begins to grow, because female psychology responds to emotional certainty, not neediness. This is one of the most powerful psychology tricks you will ever understand. The less you depend on a specific outcome, the more naturally you become attractive. And this ties directly into how to fall in love the right way, not by clinging, not by forcing, but by standing in your own value and allowing connection to meet you there. So don't beg for effort. Don't wait endlessly. Don't convince yourself that inconsistency is just her personality. That is not love. That is imbalance. And imbalance never builds something meaningful. You must be willing to step back fully, not halfway, not temporarily, fully, because only then do you create a real consequence for her lack of effort. Only then do you give space for truth to reveal itself. Either she steps forward and matches your energy, or she fades away and makes room for someone who will. Both outcomes serve you. Both outcomes move your life forward. That is the mindset of a man who understands himself. That is the mindset rooted in real psychology tricks, in real awareness of female psychology, and in a deeper understanding of how to fall in love without losing your identity. So when you reach the step, don't overcomplicate it. Don't soften it. Don't delay it. Walking away is not losing. It is choosing yourself, choosing your time, choosing your standards. And the moment you truly embrace that without fear, without hesitation, you stop chasing validation and you start attracting genuine connection. 2. Communicate your standards without words. You don't always need a long conversation to show someone how to treat you. In fact, most of the time, words get in the way. They soften the message. They create confusion. They invite negotiation where there should be none. Your actions, however, are clean, direct, undeniable. When you stop texting first every single time, you send a signal. When you stop chasing, you send a signal. When you stop overgiving your time, your attention, your energy, you send a signal. And that signal is simple, powerful, and impossible to misunderstand. I don't accept one-sided effort. Don't over-explain. Don't try to convince her to meet you halfway. That is where most men lose their edge. They talk too much. They analyze. They ask, "Why don't you text me first?" hoping for clarity. But clarity doesn't come from questions like that. It comes from behavior. Be the man who acts, not the man who explains. That is masculine energy. Calm, grounded, certain. A high-value man understands this deeply. He knows that attraction doesn't grow through words alone. It grows through consistency, through boundaries, through quiet decisions that shape how others experience him. He doesn't argue for respect. He demonstrates that respect is required. If she sees that you only match effort, she adjusts. Slowly at first, then clearly. If she notices that when she goes silent, you don't rush in to fill the gap, something shifts. She begins to feel the absence. She begins to recognize the pattern. And without a single argument, she understands the consequence. That's the power most men overlook. Quiet power. Don't underestimate silence. Silence, when used correctly, is not weakness. It is control. It is presence. It is the ability to sit back and observe instead of reacting impulsively. And in that stillness, you reveal your true value. You must understand this. When you constantly initiate, constantly give, constantly show up without receiving the same energy, you teach her that this imbalance is acceptable. You train the dynamic. You create the pattern. So break the pattern. Calmly, firmly, without drama. Stop being available all the time. That is not how you attract women. Scarcity creates curiosity. Space creates attraction. When she doesn't know exactly when you'll reach out next, she begins to think about you more. When she feels that your attention is earned, not guaranteed, she values it more. Be clear in your behavior. That is enough. A high-value man doesn't chase attention. He attracts it by how he lives, how he carries himself, and how he chooses where to invest his energy. He doesn't beg for connection. He offers it only where it is reciprocated. And here's where most men struggle. They fear losing her. So they overcompensate. They text more. They try harder. They give more than they receive. But this does not create attraction. It creates imbalance. And imbalance slowly erodes interest. Don't fall into that trap. Instead, be willing to step back. Be willing to let the silence speak. If she doesn't reach out, don't panic. Don't chase. Observe. Let her actions reveal her level of interest. That is real information, more honest than any word she could say. Masculine energy thrives in certainty, not in overthinking, not in chasing validation. It stands still when needed. It moves when it chooses. It does not react to every emotional impulse. So if she never texts first, don't confront her immediately. Don't ask for explanations. Show her through your absence what your presence was worth. That is a lesson she will feel, not just hear. And feelings drive behavior. If she values you, she will adjust. She will reach out. She will meet you halfway. If she doesn't, then you have your answer without wasting time, without draining your energy, without lowering your standards. That is the mindset of a high-value man. He does not force connection. He allows it to reveal itself naturally. Be disciplined. That is where your power lies. Discipline in not texting when you feel the urge. Discipline in not overgiving when it's not reciprocated. Discipline in staying aligned with your standards, even when emotions try to pull you away. Because the truth is simple. People treat you based on what you allow. So don't allow inconsistency. Don't allow one-sided effort. Don't allow yourself to become an option when you are capable of being a priority. You must embody the standard you expect. Not talk about it. Not negotiate it. Live it. And when you do, everything changes. The way she sees you changes. The way you see yourself changes. The entire dynamic shifts from chasing to choosing. That's the difference. So instead of asking her why she doesn't text first, show her what happens when she doesn't. Step back, refocus, invest your energy where it flows back to you. That is how you attract women. That is how you build respect. That is how you move with real masculine energy. Don't explain yourself. Don't chase. Don't beg for attention. Be the man whose actions set the rules. When you match effort and nothing more, you show her exactly how you expect to be treated. That is quiet power. That is how you earn respect without saying a word. And if you're ready to live like that, drop this in the comments right now. I don't chase, I attract with standards. Like the video, subscribe for more unshakable wisdom, and remember, respect is never requested, it is enforced through action. 3. Stop being too available. This is where most men lose their edge without even realizing it. Here's the truth: simple, direct, unavoidable. If you are always available, you become predictable, and when you become predictable, you slowly lose the sense of excitement that keeps attraction alive. You answer every text instantly. You return every call without delay. You show up every time, no matter what you're doing. At first glance, it feels like dedication. It feels like consistency. It even feels like strength. But over time, it sends a different message entirely. It tells her that your world revolves around her, that your time has no structure, no mission, no higher priority. And a man without priorities is a man who quietly loses respect. As Marcus Aurelius once said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. That strength comes from discipline, not constant availability. Listen carefully. A man with purpose is not always reachable. He is focused. He is building. He is moving forward. His life is full goals, responsibilities, growth, vision. He does not sit around waiting for a notification. He does not pause his mission for attention. That is the essence of old Stoic wisdom. You must become a man whose time is structured, whose attention is earned, not freely given away. Because the moment you make yourself endlessly accessible, you remove the challenge. And without challenge, there is no curiosity. Without curiosity, there is no emotional pull. This is not about playing games. This is about restoring balance. In today's world, where everyone is glued to their phones, where instant replies are expected, where attention is cheap and everywhere, your restraint becomes your advantage. Your silence becomes your power. Your delayed response becomes your signal. I have a life. I have direction. I am not here to fill empty space. That is how you build an iron mind. That is how you stand apart. Not by chasing harder, not by giving more, but by valuing your own time first. As Seneca said, it is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. And nothing wastes your time faster than being constantly available to someone who hasn't earned that level of access. So what do? You slow down. You breathe. You stop reacting instantly. When she texts, you don't jump. You respond when it fits your schedule, not when it interrupts your purpose. When she calls, you don't always pick up immediately. Sometimes you call back later. Not out of strategy, but out of self-respect. You are not rejecting her. You are reinforcing your life. That is the difference. That is what most men fail to understand. They think attraction is built through constant presence. It's not. It's built through meaningful presence, controlled presence, intentional presence. That is Stoicism when in action. Let her feel that your time has weight. Let her notice that you are not always there. Let her wonder what you're doing. Let her see that your life continues, with or without her messages. That subtle distance creates space. And in that space, attraction grows. Respect grows. Curiosity grows. You don't need to say a word. Your behavior speaks. Your boundaries speak. Your discipline speaks. This is what it means to embody old Stoic wisdom, not through theory, but through action. And understand this deeply. When you stop being too available, you don't lose her. You give her the opportunity to step forward. You give her the chance to invest. You give her the space to meet you halfway. If she doesn't, then you've learned something valuable. You've learned where you stand. And that clarity is power. Because a man with an iron mind does not chase uncertainty, he observes it, evaluates it, and moves accordingly. Repeat this to yourself until it becomes part of you. Don't rush. Don't react. Don't overgive. Be steady. Be focused. Be disciplined. Your time matters. Your attention matters. Your life matters. The more you respect your own time, the more others will respect it too. That is not theory. That is reality. So step back. Reclaim your rhythm. Build your life so full that you don't need to fill silence with unnecessary effort. Let her come to you sometimes. Let her initiate. Let her wonder. Because what is always available is rarely valued, but what is limited, what is intentional, what is earned, that is respected, that is desired, that is remembered, and that is how you win, not just in dating, but in life. 4. Raise your standards. This is the moment where everything either breaks or finally aligns, and you must face it with clarity and courage. If she never calls or texts first, if she shows no real effort to initiate, yet you keep holding on, then stop blaming her behavior and start examining your own standards, because that is where the real shift happens, that is where real power begins, and that is one of the most overlooked psychology tricks in modern dating. Understand this clearly. A man who truly values himself does not chase attention, does not wait endlessly for validation, does not accept inconsistency and label it as interest. Instead, he operates from quiet certainty, from grounded self-respect, from an inner standard that does not bend just because he feels lonely. And this is exactly where female psychology responds differently. Because women don't just listen to what you say, they observe what you tolerate, they measure your value based on your behavior, and when you accept less, you silently teach them to give less. Don't do that. Don't explain your worth, demonstrate it. That is how to fall in love the right way, not by chasing, but by choosing. Raising your standards means making a firm internal decision. You will no longer invest in one-sided connections. You will not text first every time. You will not carry conversations alone. You will not justify someone's lack of effort with excuses like, she's busy, or that's just how she is. No, be honest with yourself, because one of the most powerful psychology tricks is radical self-awareness, and once you see the pattern, you cannot unsee it. Be disciplined, be calm, be selective, because standards are not about arrogance. They're about alignment, and alignment is what creates real attraction, especially when you understand female psychology at a deeper level. Most men struggle here, not because they don't understand the logic, but because they fear the silence that comes after they stop chasing. They fear the empty space, the unanswered messages, the possibility that she might disappear completely, and they ask themselves, what if I don't find someone else? But that question comes from scarcity, not strength, and scarcity will always lead you to accept less than you deserve. Instead, shift your mindset, because raising your standards doesn't make you lose women, it filters them. It removes the ones who were never aligned with you in the first place. And it creates space for someone who actually sees your value without needing to be convinced. And that is how to fall in love in a way that feels natural, mutual, and grounded. The right woman will not confuse you. She will not leave you guessing. She will not make you question your worth every time you check your phone. No, she will show up, she will invest, she will meet your energy with her own, because attraction thrives on reciprocity, and this is one of those timeless psychology tricks that never fail. So ask yourself honestly, without excuses, why are you accepting the bare minimum? Why are you tolerating inconsistency? Why are you rewriting reality just to keep someone in your life? Because that is not connection, it is self-neglect, dressed up as hope, and hope without action is just illusion. Don't fall into that trap. Don't abandon your standards just to avoid discomfort, because discomfort is temporary, but a lack of self-respect becomes a pattern, and patterns define your life. The moment you raise your standards, everything changes. Your energy shifts, your focus sharpens, your behavior becomes intentional. You stop overthinking every message, you stop analyzing every delay, you stop chasing every possibility, and instead, you start choosing based on alignment, based on effort, based on mutual respect, and that is where true confidence is born. Not from external validation, but from internal clarity. Be that man. The man who doesn't need constant reassurance, the man who doesn't negotiate his worth, the man who understands that real attraction is not built on chasing, but on presence, discipline, and self respect. And when you operate from that place, something powerful happens. You naturally attract women who recognize your value without resistance, without confusion, without games, because they feel your standards, they see your boundaries, and they respect your space. That is the real transformation. That is the deeper layer of female psychology, and that is how to fall in love without losing yourself in the process. So remember this clearly and carry it with you. Don't lower your standards to keep someone. Raise your standards to find someone who already meets them, because in the end, the quality of your relationships will always reflect the quality of what you are willing to accept. And if you want something real, something strong, something lasting, then it starts here with one decision, one mindset shift, one powerful. If this hit you, don't just sit with it, act on it. Like the video, subscribe for more real, no nonsense wisdom, and take back control of your standards starting today. And if you're ready to stop accepting less than you deserve, drop this in the comments right now. I don't chase attention, I attract respect. 5. Test her interest. Now we step into something most men avoid, but every man needs: clarity. Because confusion is expensive. It drains your time, your focus, and slowly chips away at your self-respect. You find yourself wondering, replaying conversations, overanalyzing every message. She never texts first, yet she responds when you reach out. She answers your calls, but never makes one. So you ask yourself, is she interested, or am I just convenient? That question alone tells you something is already off balance. A high-value man does not live in uncertainty for long. He seeks truth, even when it's uncomfortable. So what do? You test her interest. Not with manipulation. Not with childish games. Be clear about that. This is not about trying to trick her into liking you. This is about stepping back and allowing reality to reveal itself. That is strength. That is masculine energy, calm, grounded, and observant. Stop overgiving. Stop leading every interaction. Don't text her first thing every morning like it's your job. Don't be the one always checking in at night. Don't carry the entire connection on your shoulders while she simply responds. Pause. Just pause. That silence you create is not emptiness, it's space. And in that space, the truth shows up. If she genuinely values you, she will feel that shift. She will notice your absence. And more importantly, she will act. She'll reach out. She'll send that message. She'll call. She'll check in, not because she has to, but because she wants to. Because she feels the connection slipping and doesn't want to lose it. That is real interest. It doesn't need to be forced. It doesn't need to be explained. It shows itself through action. But if nothing happens, if her silence simply mirrors yours, then you have your answer. And listen carefully. That silence is not rejection, it is clarity. Painful, yes, but clean, honest, and far more valuable than months of confusion. Most men stay stuck because they keep hoping instead of observing. They keep investing, thinking, maybe she just needs more time, or maybe if I try harder. No, don't do that. Effort should be met with effort. Energy should be matched with energy. That is how a high-value man operates. He does not chase uncertainty. He does not beg for attention. He does not build something alone and call it a connection. Understand this deeply. Actions always speak louder than words. You can listen to what she says, but you must watch what she does. If she wanted to text you, she would. If she wanted to call you, she would. If she truly wanted you in her life, you wouldn't feel confused. You would feel it clearly, consistently, and naturally. And here's the truth many avoid. When someone is interested, they make it easy for you to see it. Not perfect, not constant, but clear. There is effort. There is initiative. There is presence. You don't have to decode silence or interpret distance. So stop guessing. Stop filling in the blanks with hope. Stop creating stories to justify her lack of effort. That is not your role. Your role is to observe, decide, and act accordingly. That is masculine energy in its purest form, calm decisiveness. Testing her interest is not about losing her. It's about not losing yourself. Because every time you overextend for someone who gives you little in return, you slowly lower your standards. And once your standards drop, you start accepting less than you deserve and calling it enough. Don't do that. Be the man who steps back and watches. Be the man who values his time, his attention, his presence. Be the man who understands that connection is a two-way street, not a one-man performance. This is how you attract women who respect you, by first respecting yourself. And when the truth reveals itself, act on it. Don't hesitate. Don't negotiate with reality. If she steps forward, meet her halfway. If she doesn't, step away completely. Clean, quiet, no drama, no bitterness, just clarity and self-respect. Because in the end, the goal is not just to attract women, it's to build something real, something mutual, something where both people show up. And that only happens when you stop chasing illusions and start responding to truth. So remember this, pause, observe, let her actions speak. That is how a high-value man moves. 6. Let absence do the word. And understand this deeply, because this is where most men either lose themselves or finally step into power. Here's the truth, simple and unshakable. Nobody can miss what never goes away. If you are always there, always texting, always calling, always available at the tap of a screen, you remove the very condition that creates desire space. And without space, there is no curiosity. Without curiosity, there is no emotional pull. This is not guesswork. This is human nature, something even the ancient thinkers understood. As Seneca once said, nothing is so much to be feared as fear itself, and in this case, men fear absence because they think it leads to loss, but in reality, it reveals truth. Look at modern life. Everyone is overstimulated. Notifications, messages, endless attention. When you add yourself into that noise without restraint, you don't stand out, you blend in. You become predictable. You become expected. And what is expected is rarely valued. That's why old Stoic wisdom teaches restraint, teaches control, teaches the quiet strength of holding back. You must understand this. Attraction is not built by flooding someone with your presence. It is strengthened by the tension between presence and absence. That is Stoicism when in action, knowing when to step forward and when to step back. Think about something simple. Your favorite meal. If you eat it every single day, it loses its magic. It becomes routine. But remove it for weeks, even months, and suddenly the desire comes back stronger than before. The taste feels richer. The experience feels meaningful again. People are no different. Emotions follow the same rhythm. When you are constantly available, you remove the opportunity for longing. And without longing, connection becomes flat. This is why you must develop an iron mind, one that resists the urge to chase, to overgive, to overcommunicate. Now listen carefully. Most men panic at this stage. They think, if I stop texting, she'll forget me. If I pull back, I'll lose her. No, that fear is exactly what keeps you stuck in a one-sided dynamic. Because here's the reality. If she forgets you simply because you stopped reaching out for a while, she was never truly invested. That's not loss. That's clarity. And clarity is power. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. You cannot control her interest, but you can control your actions. You can control your standards. You can control your presence. Let absence do the work. Not as a tactic, not as a game, but as a principle. This is not about punishing her. This is not about manipulation. This is about restoring balance. Right now, if you are the one always initiating, always giving, always showing up, then the balance is broken. You are overinvested. And when one side overinvests, the other side naturally leans back. That's human psychology. That's why stepping back is not losing ground. It is correcting the dynamic. When you stop filling every silence, something powerful happens. She becomes aware of the silence. The good morning text she ignored? Gone. The attention she assumed would always be there? Missing. And now, for the first time, she has to feel what you were feeling, the gap. The question. The uncertainty. And that's when the shift begins. She starts wondering. She starts noticing. She starts asking herself why things changed. And that is where attraction can rebuild itself naturally without force. But here's where your discipline is tested. You must not break. You must not rush back the moment you feel discomfort, because that discomfort is growth. That discomfort is you stepping into a stronger version of yourself. This is iron mind thinking. Calm, controlled, unreactive. You don't chase reassurance. You don't beg for attention. You observe. You wait. You let reality show itself. And then one of two things will happen. She steps up. She reaches out. She matches your energy. She shows effort. If that happens, good, you now have a more balanced connection, one built on mutual interest, not one-sided effort. Or she does nothing. She fades. She stays silent. And if that happens, even better, you have saved yourself months, maybe years, of emotional investment in something that was never real. Either way, you win. That is Stoicism win at its core, turning every outcome into an advantage because you stayed grounded in principle. Understand this clearly. Your value does not increase by doing more. Your value increases by knowing when to do less, by knowing when to step back, by knowing when to let silence speak. As Epictetus taught, don't explain your philosophy. Embody it. And that is exactly what you are doing here. You are not telling her your worth. You are showing it through your behavior, through your absence, through your restraint. So, step 4 is simple, but not easy. Let absence do the work. Stop overextending. Stop overgiving. Stop trying to force connection where it should flow naturally. Give space, not out of fear, but out of strength. Not to get a reaction, but to reveal truth. Build that iron mind. Apply old Stoic wisdom. Live Stoicism win in real time. Because a man who can walk away from constant contact is a man who cannot be controlled. A man who is not afraid of silence is a man who commands respect. And a man who understands absence is a man who never has to chase, because the right people will always feel his presence, even when he is not there. If you understand this, then stop chasing, stop overgiving, and step back with purpose, because a man who knows his value doesn't beg to be noticed. He creates space to be missed, and now I want you to prove it to yourself, not to me, by taking action today. Don't wait, don't hesitate, because clarity comes the moment you stop forcing what isn't real. So drop this in the comments right now. I step back, and I let my value be felt. 7. Reclaim your emotional control. Stop for a moment and be honest with yourself. How many times have you stared at your phone, waiting, checking, refreshing, hoping? You send a message, and suddenly your peace is no longer yours. It belongs to a notification sound. If she replies fast, you feel lifted. If she delays, your mind starts racing. If she doesn't reply at all, your entire mood shifts. Don't ignore this pattern. That is the moment you begin to lose control, not over her, but over yourself. And here's the uncomfortable truth. The second your emotional state depends on her response, you've quietly handed over your power without even realizing it. She didn't ask for it. She didn't earn it. Yet you gave it away. This is one of the most overlooked psychology tricks in modern dating, and it sits at the core of female psychology. Women are deeply perceptive. They may not say it out loud, but they feel it. They sense when your energy is steady and when it is unstable. They notice when your attention is grounded in your own life versus when it's orbiting around them. And when a man becomes emotionally reactive, checking constantly, waiting anxiously, hoping desperately, it doesn't build attraction. It creates pressure. It creates imbalance. It quietly pushes her away. Don't misunderstand this. It's not about playing games. It's about emotional self-respect. Attraction grows in space, not in pressure. It grows when a man is centered, when he is focused, when he is not shaken by silence. That is what female psychology responds to. A man who is calm. A man who is engaged in his own path. A man who doesn't crumble because a message didn't come through. So, what must you do? You take your control back. You shift your focus. You stop treating your phone like it holds your future. It doesn't. Your life does. Your actions do. Your discipline does. Be busy. Be engaged. Go to the gym and push yourself. Sit down and read something that sharpens your mind. Build something meaningful in your career. Call your friends. Laugh. Move. Live. Do not sit still waiting for someone else to validate your existence. That is not how to fall in love in a healthy, grounded way. Real connection comes when two complete people meet, not when one person is waiting to be completed. And here's the paradox that most men miss. The moment you truly let go of the obsession, everything changes. Not because you're trying to manipulate the outcome, but because your energy shifts. You become less predictable, less available, more focused, more attractive without even trying. She notices. She feels it. She begins to wonder, what is he doing? Why isn't he reaching out like before? Where did his attention go? That curiosity is powerful. It is one of the oldest psychology tricks rooted deeply in female psychology. When something becomes less accessible, it becomes more intriguing. But understand this clearly, this is not about making her chase. This is about no longer chasing yourself into exhaustion. This is about stepping back into your own life. And if she steps forward, that's her choice. If she doesn't, you are still moving forward. You are still growing. You are still becoming stronger, sharper, more grounded. That is the real win. Because at the end of the day, whether she texts or not, whether she calls or not, your life continues to expand. Your purpose continues to deepen. Your confidence becomes internal, not dependent. And that is the foundation of everything love, respect, attraction. If you want to understand how to fall in love without losing yourself, this is where it begins. With control, with awareness, with discipline. Don't let a screen dictate your emotions. Don't let silence disturb your peace. Be steady. Be focused. Be a man who chooses his response instead of reacting automatically. That is strength. That is clarity. That is what creates lasting attraction. So remember this, and remember it well. Your emotions are your responsibility, not hers, not anyone else's. You are not controlled by a ringtone. You are not defined by a reply time. You are a man with direction, with purpose, with a life that is far bigger than any single conversation. Hold on to that. Build on that. And everything else will begin to fall into place. 8. Match her energy. Now, let's get honest about something most men overlook. Balance is everything. Relationships are mirrors. What you give is what gets reflected back. And when that reflection becomes uneven, when you're pouring in effort and getting crumbs in return, the mirror doesn't just blur, it cracks. And once that crack appears, respect quietly begins to disappear. Don't ignore that. Don't explain it away. Face it. Women don't pull away because you care. They don't lose interest because you're attentive. That's a myth men tell themselves to justify overgiving. The truth is simpler and harder. They lose interest when the energy feels off. When you're sprinting toward her while she's casually strolling in your direction, something breaks. Attraction cannot survive imbalance. That is reality. So here is the rule you must live by: match her energy. Not more, not less, equal. If she calls, you call. If she texts, you respond. If she invests, you reflect it back. That is how a high-value man operates. Calm, grounded, in control of his masculine energy. But if she goes quiet, you go quiet too. Don't rush in to fill the silence. Don't panic. Don't start typing paragraphs just to keep her attention alive. Be still. That silence is not your enemy, it is your test. And how you handle it reveals everything about your self-respect. This is where many men go wrong. They confuse interest with overcompensation. Understand the difference. Interest is clean. It is confident. It says, I like you and I'm not afraid to show it. Overcompensation, on the other hand, is heavy. It is anxious. It says, I need you to like me back, so I'll do more, give more, chase more. Don't fall into that trap. Don't try to earn affection through effort. That is not how you attract women. That is how you lose yourself. And once you lose yourself, you lose the very thing that made her notice you in the first place. When you're always the one reaching out, always initiating, always trying to keep the connection alive, you're not demonstrating strength, you're signaling imbalance. You're telling her, without words, that your time is more available than hers, that your attention is easier to access, that your presence is guaranteed. And here's the truth most men don't want to hear. What is always available is rarely valued. Scarcity creates curiosity. Space creates attraction. That is not manipulation. That is human psychology. Matching her energy is not about being distant or playing games. Don't misunderstand this. It's about alignment. It's about emotional discipline. It's about knowing when to step forward and when to step back. Think of it like a dance, a real dance. If one person is moving intensely while the other barely responds, it becomes awkward, forced, even uncomfortable. But when both partners move in sync, same rhythm, same pace, it becomes effortless, smooth, alive. That is what balanced energy feels like. That is what masculine energy looks like when it is centered and controlled. Now, let's talk about what actually happens when you start doing this. Two powerful outcomes unfold. First, if she is genuinely interested in you, she will feel the shift immediately. She will notice the balance. She will lean in. She will begin to reach out more, invest more, and meet you halfway. Why? Because now she has space to do so. You are no longer overwhelming the connection. You are inviting her into it. And that invitation is what allows attraction to grow naturally. Second, if she is not truly interested, her lack of effort will become obvious, painfully obvious. And that clarity is a gift. Don't run from it. Don't try to fix it. Accept it. Because now you are no longer guessing. You are no longer stuck in confusion. You see the truth for what it is. And here's the powerful part. Either way, you win. You either deepen a real connection or you free yourself from a one-sided illusion. That is the mindset of a high-value man. He does not chase clarity. He creates it through his actions. There's another layer most men never consider. When you do all the work, when you initiate everything, carry every conversation, maintain all the momentum, you actually remove her opportunity to invest. Think about that. You rob her of the chance to wonder about you. You take away the anticipation she could feel waiting for your message. You deny her the satisfaction of making you laugh, of earning your attention, of contributing to the connection. And without investment, there is no emotional attachment. Without emotional attachment, attraction fades. It's that simple. Matching her energy restores that balance. It gives her room to step in. It allows her to participate. It creates a dynamic where both people contribute, both people feel, both people choose. And that is how real attraction is built. Not through chasing, not through overgiving, but through mutual effort, mutual curiosity, mutual respect. And remember this principle, because it will guide you in every interaction. Women respect men who respect themselves, not men who try harder, not men who give more, but men who stand firm in their value. When you match her energy, you are not just protecting your dignity, you are setting a standard. You are showing her, without saying a word, how you expect to be treated. You are teaching her that your time, your attention, and your presence are earned, not freely given without reciprocity. Be grounded. Be patient. Be observant. Don't react emotionally to every delay, every silence, every shift in communication. Stay centered in your masculine energy. Let your actions reflect calm confidence. Let your presence feel steady, not desperate. That is how you attract women who are aligned with you, not just temporarily interested in you. So step 2 is simple, but powerful. Match her energy. Not less, not more, equal. That is where balance lives. That is where respect grows. That is where attraction stays alive. If this message hit you, it's time to stop chasing and start choosing yourself. Real connection is built on balance, not effort from one side. So take a stand today. Share this with someone who needs it, and don't forget to subscribe for more real, no-nonsense wisdom. Now comment this to lock it into your mindset. I match energy, I respect myself, and I never chase what doesn't choose me. 9. Stop rewarding her silence. And understand this deeply, because this is where most men lose without even realizing it. When she doesn't call, when she doesn't text, when she leaves space and distance, your instinct is to close the gap. You reach out. You initiate. You overcompensate. You tell yourself you're being consistent, patient, understanding. But in truth, you are training her to do less while you do more. That is not connection. That is imbalance. And as Marcus Aurelius once reminded us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. That means your response is everything. If you respond to silence with more effort, more chasing, more giving, then you are not leading your life. You are reacting to hers. And reaction is not strength. Reaction is dependency. This is where old Stoic wisdom becomes your weapon. A man grounded in old Stoic wisdom understands that value is not proven through persistence alone, but through restraint, through discipline, through knowing when to step back. Because when you constantly fill her silence, you remove all need for her to show up. You erase the space where her interest would naturally grow. You kill curiosity. You eliminate mystery. You make your presence predictable. And what is predictable becomes invisible. Think about modern life. Notifications are everywhere. Messages are constant. Attention is cheap. So if you give yours away freely, endlessly, without reciprocity, it loses weight. It loses meaning. It becomes noise. And no one chases noise. As Epictetus taught, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. In this case, that means resisting the urge to prove yourself, to chase validation, to act out of fear of losing her. Because that fear is exactly what weakens your position. You must build an iron mind. You must become the man who can sit in silence without needing to fix it. The man who doesn't panic when there is no reply. The man who doesn't rush to maintain something that isn't being equally maintained. This is Stoicism when in its purest form. Control what you can. Release what you cannot. And right now, you cannot control whether she reaches out, but you can control whether you keep rewarding her absence with your presence. Let me make it clear. Every time you text her after she ignores you, you lower the bar. Every time you call after she stays silent, you teach her that your attention has no conditions. And once attention has no conditions, it has no value. Human psychology is simple. People invest in what requires effort. They appreciate what they can lose. If there is no risk of losing you, there is no urgency to value you. That is why you must stop. Completely. No half measures. No, just one message. No excuses. Silence is not your enemy. It is your test. And only men with an iron mind pass that test. When you stop rewarding her silence, something powerful happens. The dynamic shifts. The energy rebalances. She begins to notice the absence. She begins to feel the gap you used to fill. And in that gap, questions appear. Why hasn't he texted? Did something change? Is he pulling away? That curiosity is where attraction begins to rebuild. Not through chasing, not through effort alone, but through space, through contrast, through absence. This is not manipulation. This is alignment. You are aligning your actions with your worth. You are no longer giving more than you receive. You are no longer investing blindly. You are operating from Stoicism when, not emotional impulse. And understand this clearly, this is not about punishing her. It is about respecting yourself. Because every time you chase someone who does not meet you halfway, you send a message, not to her, but to yourself, that you are willing to settle for less. And that is the most dangerous message a man can internalize. Instead, you must act with clarity, with purpose, with discipline. You must remind yourself daily, my time is valuable, my attention is earned, my presence is not guaranteed. That is the mindset of a man who lives by old Stoic wisdom. That is the mindset of a man building an iron mind. So when the silence comes, do nothing. Let it sit. Let it breathe. Let it reveal the truth of the situation. Because silence exposes everything. It shows you who is willing to reach out. It shows you who values your presence. It shows you where you truly stand. And once you see that clearly, you gain power. Real power. The kind that doesn't beg. The kind that doesn't chase. The kind that attracts naturally because it is rooted in self-respect. So remember this and burn it into your mind. Stop rewarding her silence. Do not chase. Do not fill the void. Do not lower your standards just to keep something alive that isn't growing on its own. Be still. Be disciplined. Be unshaken. That is Stoicism win. That is strength. That is how you take control, not of her actions, but of your own value. All right, my friend, that's where we wrap it up today. Take this with you. Real strength isn't about chasing, it's about choosing yourself first. When you stop overgiving, when you stand still and hold your ground, everything becomes clear. The right person will meet you halfway, the wrong one will fade away. And that's not a loss, that's clarity. So don't rush, don't force, and don't doubt your worth. Stay steady, stay sharp, and remember, a man who respects himself never has to beg for attention. See you in the next video. Stay strong.